It's that time of year again. Dark nights, cold and damp. I'm going to stray away from my usual mudguard choice and fit some fancy Velo Orange stainless mudguards to my favourite retro Commuter. So I shot this video just in case you need any help. These mudguards are pricey. At around £75, I'm really hoping the quality is there, because for half the price I could get some SKS Blue Elves and be happy. These are shiny though, and metal, so they should be better, right? This is how they come packaged: stainless mudguards wrapped in plastic in a cardboard sleeve. All the accessories come in a little bag, and it comes with a little instruction leaflet too. To be fair, the parts do look quality, and the instructions contain fitting instructions for different styles of bike mounting points. So there's my first thumbs up. I had a quick read through the instructions and got to fitting them. It's pretty simple with regular bike tools, but you will need something to trim the stays down with, like an angle grinder or a hacksaw. Now, these are the fixing points for the stays to attach to the guards. The lock nut and the washer will go on the underside, and the eye bolt and the cup washer on the top side. Now, if you loosely attach these to the mudguards and feed the stays through, but don't do anything up just yet because you need to center everything once it's on the bike. There are conveniently two markings in the stays to help you align them, but I left them loose a little until I was sure everything was on the bike where it needed to be. I started by mounting the rear mudguard. I think the best place to start is by attaching the chainstay mount. That way the rest of the mudguard should be in the right position for the other mounts. Mine is a threaded hole, so I only really needed a short bolt, but they do say to fit a leather washer between the frame and the mudguard to stop it rubbing, and you will need a washer under the bolt head too. If you have a regular through hole here, you can use a longer bolt and lock nut, and if you have no hole at all, the kit, I think, is supplied with a special bracket that you can make work. Now that the base is fixed, you can move on to the upper mount, or the seat stay bridge mount. My old Saracen here has a nice wishbone seat stay and uses this convenient bolt threaded into the frame, so I just utilised that position. The kit does come with a nut and bolt though if you need to secure the mount to a regular hole in the seat stay bridge. I'm running the mount with the tab sitting between the seat stays to make it look cleaner, but it also makes it a little harder to do this next bit on the bike. To get this upper support in position, you need to bend the tabs around, and they're a little awkward. The most awkward part of the installation. I found that using a pair of pliers to bend the tab around worked well, but as you can see, when it's on the bike and between the seat stays, the rear tab isn't that easy to access, so it may be best to do that bit off the bike once you have a tab on each side secured. It was actually really difficult to get this part looking neat and tidy with the mount following the contour of the mudguard, but I think the pliers got the job done well enough.
Okay, it's not too bad actually.
After those two mounts are in place, it's time to get the stays cut to length and mounted to the frame. But to do that, you really need to chuck the rear wheel back in so that you can work out the clearances. If I just let the mudguard hang where it was, it would be riding on the tyre. I like to have a nice even gap between the tyre and the mudguard, so I always aim for that. Now's the time to work out what works best for your tyre and bike combination. Get it close, but leave enough clearance for any debris to be safely ejected by the tyre. And don't forget the bolts are on the inside, so they need clearance too. Of course, I didn't actually film myself sliding these P-clips on, but they are used to secure the stays to the frame. Your bike should have eyelets for the mudguards. Mine has two options, so I went with the lower eyelets as that seemed to look best and fitted the best. The P-clips can be installed to the top or to the bottom. It just depends on your bike setup. The idea is to hold the mudguard in the position you decided works best for your bike, like in the clip before. Try to get both stays nice and even, and don't worry about the excess. we'll cut that off next. By now, you should have all the mounts in place and done up, and be happy with the mudguard tyre clearance. There's just a little job of trimming the stays down. I ended up cutting around 40mm from my stays with an angle grinder. A quick and easy trim, making sure I didn't clip cable or frame. I did leave a little extra sticking out of the P-clips, just in case I wanted to make any adjustments in future. With all that done, we can finally double check the alignment of the mudguard and then finish off the rear by doing up the two stay to mudguard mounting bolts properly. Moving on to the front, and the first job is to attach the upper mounting bracket. Velo Orange actually offer a few different options for this, but for my setup I've gone with a regular L bracket. This has a screw which fits from the underside and bolts in place. Nice and simple. Of course, at the same time, you can also loosely fit the stays to the guard following the same process we did for the rear. When fitting the front mudguard, we always start at the top, and that is mounting to the fork crown. With my old mountain bike Commuter, I have a front rack fitted and I can utilise that mounting bolt. That's why the L bracket works best for me. Your setup might vary slightly, but the instructions are nice and clear if you have a slightly different mounting point. There is one thing to keep an eye on here though, and that is the tyre to mudguard clearance. There is a little bit of adjustment in the L bracket, and with the bigger tyres I'm running, I'm making sure I pull the mudguard as close to the frame as possible to give me the best tyre clearance. And honestly, the last steps are a repeat of the rear. Attach the P-clips to the stays, mount them to the fork using the eyelets you have available, and check the tyre to mudguard clearance. Once you're happy with everything, trim the stays to size, if possible leaving a little bit of overhang, and make sure everything is done up tightly. And that includes the stay to mudguard bolts we left loose at the start. And that's how I fitted my Velo Orange stainless mudguards. I know the instructions are very clear, but sometimes it helps to see it done, so this is why I made the video. I was honestly a big fan of the SKS mudguards and saw absolutely no reason to spend £75 on these, but I'm glad I did. They actually really suit the bike, they're well made, and the fit, I think, a little better than the SKS. They're stiffer at least. They haven't gone through a winter yet though, so we get to see how they hold up to the road salt and all that grime. So keep your fingers crossed. If you enjoyed this little vid, hit the like button for me. It really helps out. Thanks for watching. I'll just leave you with some final clips now.